Welcome to my Just Jenny podcast. Back with me is one of my favorite guests, Kendra Jarratt. She's a certified personal trainer, nutritionist, behavior change coach. She's been doing it for many years, over a decade. And she coaches online. She sees people sometimes in person. She's been on the road. So she might be in your city at any given time. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
I loved when you were here last time. Such good feedback because your openness about your whole thing with doing the fitness event and sort of dealing with how your body reacted to that and your reason why you did it in the first place and how people were toward you about it, I thought was really cool that you were just so open and direct. How did you feel after you talked about it?
Well, I always love the opportunity to answer those questions because, in our situation, we're when you have a podcast, you're the creator, you're kind of coming up with all of it. So being able to have the opportunity to express myself was really cathartic for me. And, I'm learning how to kind of process out loud in a way that makes sense, that people can follow. And so that was a good opportunity to do it. And I felt good. It felt good to just say it because, and to talk with somebody who could see it and just ask me the questions that, a lot of people won't ask me.
Right.
Truly.
Yeah, I'll go
Leave
there.
it to Jenny. Leave it to Jenny.
But you know what? The reason why was because I think I want the answers like anybody else does, because when we see someone like you who is a fitness expert who really does understand how to shift and morph her body for whatever reason, like sort of watching you do it and really wanting to understand the play by play, I felt like I had no other thing I could possibly do but to ask you kind of the real questions about it, like what it does to you, how that makes you feel, and what sort of thing happens inside your brain when you get there. And after you were on, I noticed like there were people online, and I don't even think they've made the correlation between they had done one of these sort of fitness contests and then had a bit of a mental break. But I saw it. Like I saw somebody reeling 4 or 5 months after they did this event.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know that they.
Do you mean like visually unrecognizable?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
And
right.
I don't know that they've put it together. And I'm not here to like project any of what I think about somebody else onto them.
I get it.
But having spoken to you about it, it just seems so clear that this person was struggling almost as a result of the thing that they did. So just to catch my listeners up who did miss your last time on this podcast, what was that fitness event and what was kind of the changes you did to your body to be a part of it?
Yeah, so I entered into my first bodybuilding competition in the bikini division, which is kind of the smallest, and with bikini should be beauty. You're judged on skin quality, like it sounds, but I really have to emphasize bodybuilding has saved a lot of people's lives, just like a lot of obsessive things. It's like, of all the things, thank God it's that one. But so I did the contest. I did it in, over 40, over 45, that division. And I just took my body to, very low double digits of body fat, went through 5 months of really clear restrictive dieting. That's what it's called. We're like definitely on a diet. No, this is it's not a lifestyle.
Yep, it's a diet.
So it was in conflict in many ways with what I coach, which is healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
I'm not, I don't really coach balance. I do in maintaining, but when somebody has a fat loss goal, I'm not like, let's also find a way for you to drink and eat junk. I can't do that. I don't see that working well for some people. So but I took myself through this extreme process. Number one, to learn what it would take to get that lean. And number two, what it would take to get out of it. And I was curious what that would feel like, the whole process. And, this is something I've been looking at since I started lifting weights when I was in my early 20s. So I finally decided it was time, and I did it. And I'm super proud of myself, but also, it's like I'm as conflicted as anybody about it.
Sure. Sure. No, and your honesty, that's where your honesty was. Like, it was excessive, and you
Like, I
saw
get it. Yeah.
where it gets dangerous and where you got to
Yes.
really have, you really have to check in with your mental health
You
if you're
really have
gonna
to check. Yeah.
embark on something like that, because it's probably not advisable for a certain kind of person. That's all. And I don't know who that
Well,
person is.
let's take the person who you're talking about,
Yeah.
who's probably got in what they could see as the best shape of their life. And then this is the problem with diets in general that we have talked about, is that
Yeah.
once you get that lean and you have been
Mm-hmm.
that deprived, even if you're not doing bodybuilding, just anybody who's been on an extreme diet, your physical body is desperate to be fed. And
Yeah.
so it's very easy to gain body fat in that
Yeah.
state. And the rebound, that's why the
It's
yo-yo is
horrible.
so
It's the
easy. Like,
worst. Yeah.
every time you diet, it's easier to
Oh,
gain the weight back and it's harder
yep.
to lose it. And that's by design. It's your
Yep.
body is brilliant, and it is
Mm-hmm.
like, here she goes again. So binging is super common after that. When I see rapid weight gain, I know that somebody is stuck in binging, and we both know that's hell. That's like a personal hell, is the
Yeah.
binge cycle.
I think there's
So
also this thing, Kendra, where, like, when you start to see yourself, even if you're rational, when you see yourself at that new super small, because we're all kind of impacted by what we see around
yeah,
us, it tricks the brain. And then you start to think that's what I should look like that should be my new normal. And so even if you're reasonable and understand it's not really what you should be long term, there's this thing we do to ourselves of like, but you know what, maybe I'll just like try to stay here for a little bit because like this is cool, I got here. And
yeah,
every bit of your body, you're right, is like, no, 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 this was like a bit, like we were doing a game, we were trying something out, we were testing limits.
right.
Now we go back to being healthy and ourselves. Like, this is not
Yeah,
where we're supposed to be staying, but
right.
that thing in your brain goes like, oh, no, 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 but look, my hip bone is jutting out, and look at my collarbones, and I can
Right.
feel myself when I'm standing, not just lying down. And then you have to actually, and this is where it takes somebody who really, really knows what she's doing. And even
Yeah.
then, it can be
Even then.
dangerous because you're like, oh no, I know I shouldn't stay here. This is not good for me. But it feels so good. It's like
You know,
almost naughty.
it's funny. I have 3 friends back home right now. All It's called prepping for a
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding show.
Mm-hmm.
They all did it on the same weekend, and they're doing another one. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it. I'm watching, and I know what they feel like.
Yes.
And I also
Yes.
I'm so tuned in to what's going to happen to each of them after.
Okay, that's what I'm
Because,
talking about.
right,
Right. Right.
because
Uh,
that level of leanness feels as good as it looks like it would feel on some level,
yes.
and yet, that's why actually I like that it is I know people don't think it's a sport, but I like that it's a sport, because
Mm-hmm.
in the context of the sport, we know you're not supposed to stay there. So like, for me,
Right.
it was like, I knew I was going to come out of that. And the question was just, would I go to a place where I was now going to be unrecognizable, or was I going
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get a hold of myself? And luckily I journaled, and I did. But the women who come out of it, who gain rapid weight, of course that's not healthy. It's incredibly taxing on the body, and it's
Yeah.
super discouraging. So if this is a sport you're interested in, you actually have to treat yourself like, think
An
of yourself
athlete.
as an athlete,
Yeah.
where the phase after is as important as
As
during. You
totally.
have to be coached, you have to take care of yourself. And I like to see more women doing that after a fat loss phase anyway. Um,
Yeah, let's talk about that because that is your
yeah,
business too. Like
yeah,
you are a
yeah.
coach and you've helped thousands of women. You have a massive following on TikTok and on Instagram, both at Kendra Jarratt. And you are helping, I'd say mostly women,
Yep.
achieve fat loss. I appreciate that you put out there, like, I'm here to help you learn how to eat in a way that supports whatever is your goal in a nutritious way. And as you said before, not in a way that's going to be like, yes, have some pizza, in a way that's going to say, are you looking to, I mean, the occasional pizza, fine, but
You
are
know
you
what? Yeah.
looking to lose? If you're looking to lose fat, you can't have pizza every single day. Yes, you
Right.
can have egg white pizza, but that's not pizza.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I know that people like put online like big trays of whipped egg whites and then they put the cheese and the sauce on and they bake it in the oven in the
Not
broiler and
pizza.
they're like, it's pizza. And I'm like, that is not
Not pizza.
pizza. It might be delicious, but it's just not pizza. But anyway, so I appreciate that you do this and this is what you do. You help women achieve whatever it is that is their goal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much, I think one of the reasons I always connected with you is that I am, I don't think, I try never to say never, but I am not out there telling somebody what they should do if they don't want to. So if you come to me for help and you're not where you want to be, and you ask me about intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
then I will tell you about it. But
Yeah.
I'm not out there just kind of preaching about what's ridiculous and what's terrible about the current diets. I'm saying what I see work, what I
Yep.
see not work.
Yep.
If you told me intermittent fasting is the way you've got your body composition and you're happy and you feel good and you feel strong, then intermittent fasting works for you.
Right.
Right. And I would never, I'm not, that is not a battle. I don't care. But if you
Right.
want help, and that's where I can step in.
Yeah,
Um,
well, you
I
said before, like you're not interested in the balance. So talk about because that's what I think
okay.
is so cool in a sense that you're not apologizing for
No,
actually chirping people toward weight loss if they're looking for fat loss. Like you're
right.
not saying like no, I'm not really helping people to lose weight. I'm helping them find a way to be balanced and
Right, right,
peace with
right.
what they're eating. Like I don't see you as being just about peace with what we're eating.
I mean, again, like maybe there's a coach who is, but for me,
Yeah,
um,
right.
I actually just started my podcast, which is Strong Life Podcast.
Oh, I'm so
And
happy.
I know, and one of the first episodes is about the subjective nature of balance. So what I think is balanced, you might think is fucking insane.
Hmm.
And what that's why people, that's why our 1 minute TikToks are so triggering and tricky, because
Yeah.
I bet if we sat down with most people, we'd get to like we'd agree. But
Hmm.
but if I just throw out here's a healthy lettuce wrap sandwich, somebody's like, that's not balanced. You well, I didn't eat lettuce wrap sandwiches all day, and I never said like that I'm about balance. If you come to me with a fat loss goal or a goal, let's start there, okay? We have three pillars. One is resistance training, two is eating enough protein, which I help provide those numbers, and three is eating in a caloric deficit that's reasonable. And those are the pillars of fat loss. And
Hmm.
what's not included in those is drinking 2 nights a week or 3 nights a week, is overeating every few days. I can't.
Are the Cadbury mini
Yeah.
eggs left over from the Easter weekend? Are those
Okay,
in the
but you're but you if I were working with you, you would be a client who's maintaining her 70-pound
Yes.
weight loss.
Yes. And you know what? There are weeks that I won't eat anything like
Yes.
this. And then weeks that I'll
Right.
only eat that. And I'm aware of it. And I
Right.
struggle and I'm getting my period.
Right.
And I know, at this point in my life at 53, I don't know what's happening with my body. And that's okay.
I know. But
Yeah.
if you came to me and you said, Kendra, I want to lose body fat, I would set us on a mission to
Yes.
have you strength training.
Correct.
And we would go down that path. And in that path, we would test different things. And we would say,
Yeah.
all right, let's see if Jenny can get away with 20 Cadbury eggs a week. And if she can get
Exactly.
away with 20 Cadbury eggs a
Great.
week and reach her goals, that's great. But
Uh-huh.
mostly what I see for women that I work with is that when you have a goal, it is in your best interest not to deviate a whole lot, because we work too hard.
It's
So
true.
it's
It's
like
true.
it's like people are working so hard
Yep.
and then desperate for the balance on the weekends, which puts
Yeah.
us back at maintenance, and we're
Totally
spinning
puts you
our
back.
wheels. Yeah,
Yeah, I thank
yeah.
you. It's so true because I think
It's so
that's the
true.
right. And at least you're admitting, like, again, this is why I like you so much, because it's like no bullshit. You're not saying to me, okay, just be really clean during the week. But then like on the weekend, if you want to go out and have like the sushi
No.
that's covered in mayonnaise and fried, enjoy that Saturday night and then also have pancakes for breakfast and you'll be fine, because I won't be fine. That's not going to work well for my physiology and is going to set me back, because even if it's not real weight on the scale, because it's not, it's still going to mess with my head, even knowing it's not real,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the fluctuations are just never
Right.
fun to watch. So if you can avoid some of it by not eating like an asshole, then avoid it.
Well, and even let's take your 70-pound weight loss, which over the course of what? How long did it take? You did
It took me a lot. It took me, I mean, over a year.
okay.
2009 to late 2010 is what
Right.
I, yeah.
Okay. So, and you probably had in there some days where you overate, right? You
Oh,
had some
yeah.
setbacks. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
And
never lost, like when people think everyone has this like quick, crazy weight loss in life, the people who succeed was neither quick nor crazy. I mean, most months I lost 4 pounds, 5 pounds. There was maybe
yeah,
2 months that there were 7 pounds in there, but it was never like a pound a day and 3 pounds a week. And I never, and
which
there were
is
times
good.
I'd
That's
go,
that's good.
yeah, times I'd go a couple weeks without losing weight and be so frustrated. And then I'd have that like dip. It was like just,
Right.
it was, yeah, it wasn't, but
Do
yeah.
you think, because I'm not, do you think like fitness professionals are not transparent about this or candid about this? Maybe I'm connected to people who are, but
Yes, I
do,
think many of them are not. I think unfortunately, I think a couple things. I think that there's room in maintenance, like you just said, for kind of the dipsy doodling around, figuring out what works. And when I say maintenance, I mean the scale might go up 3 or 4
yeah,
pounds and then
sure.
go back down 3 or 4 pounds. But when you're actively trying to reduce body fat, and also like the less you have to lose, the harder it is, the more kind of
Yeah, for
tightened up you
sure.
have to be. But yeah, you actually have to pay attention, and you cannot eat everything you want all in the same day, and you can't every day be super indulgent. Can you have maybe 100 calories of a dessert every day? Yes, but you know how hard it is to stick to actually 100 calories of
Yeah.
any freaking dessert? Like, so it which is, and I do think that there are fitness professionals who want the client to feel good and feel like, I don't know, like they can, I don't know why they do it. Or I think they
Like you can
sometimes,
have it all. Yeah. You could, if
yeah,
you're
or they
actually,
yeah.
you know what's funny that as I was saying that, I was thinking of somebody's saw their tagline was you know, um basically with us, eat all the foods you love and still reach your goals. And
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
right.
so when I see that, the first thing I think is they are stuck in this concept that it's only about calories and that it has nothing to do with the quality of your
The
calories, which is not
nutrition. Right.
true. Right?
Right.
So that is probably the biggest like kind of, oh, like I'm thinking of even TikTokers who are kind of making their audience feel like idiots, like it's just about calories, and it's like, well, it's not. And that's oversimplifying it. So
That's right.
telling somebody you can have whatever you want, that's the whole, if it fits into your macros, which was never meant to be like cake and ice cream and
No.
all the garbage foods. you
Right.
you should be able to fit those in here and there. But if I have a client who's doing a check-in and they're trying to fit those in and they're not getting results, then we have to change the food quality.
I mean, well,
But
that's, you hit,
if you're
that's the nail on
getting
the head.
results,
Yeah.
if you're
Fine.
getting results, let's go for it. Cool.
Go you. Yeah.
But
And
I
by the
don't
way,
see that.
yeah.
I'm just not
Well,
seeing that.
right, because to clarify, the if it fits your macros and sort of the calories in, calories out, that was a thing too, that calories in,
Yeah,
calories out plan. Yeah, and you know this better than anybody. Yes, calories in, calories out. Yes, of course, calories matter in the sense that if you eat 800 calories this and 800 calories that, it's 800 calories. Yes, how the body responds to those 800 calories varies depending on the damn nutrient. And I think
sure.
people miss that part of it, that like when you eat 800 calories, let's say broccoli, ouch, it's going to do something different to your body from 800 calories of jelly beans. And so it's what happens the next day after you eat that, or the next
Mhm.
meal after you eat that, what it's doing inside your body, how it's making your body work efficiently or not in the case of the jelly beans. So it doesn't mean don't eat the jelly beans, but have the ratio be more broccoli than jelly beans or more protein than jelly beans. And it took me, I mean, it's only now that I'm really thinking in the past year of protein that I'm like, oh, you need your protein. You need to get fucking protein. You have to have protein because I know my age and my bones and I have to have protein. I don't, and my muscles. It's not fun, but I, you know, like I really actively think about it. It's awful. I mean, thank God cottage cheese is having a moment because it's,
Yeah,
you know,
you and your cottage cheese. Yeah, I
what
mean,
choice do I have? Like, I
what
don't know what to
choice do you have?
do. It's
Yeah.
the worst.
Well, it is a, I mean, there's no doubt that at our age we need to be getting in that protein and the resistance training. And I know it kind of goes in one ear and out the other, but at some point it is going to catch up with us.
Yeah.
And um I mean, it's hard to change those habits. I think we have these kind of baseline habits. We have foods that we like that we go back to, and you know, it definitely, you have to change at
Mhm.
this point in your life to be able to, even we should be thinking about longevity, never mind like how you look at a bikini. I mean,
Totally. Ugh, I don't
even though
care.
that is like,
Yeah.
that's still important, you know, I haven't given up on that.
For you, you shouldn't because you're. And by the way, I know everybody's a bikini body, so don't come after me.
Don't come
Everybody's a
after
bikini body,
us. Yeah.
right? But like, I'm not putting myself in a bikini because I've never felt like I wanted to like show my body in a bikini. For me, my body is not a bikini body. It's not a sad thing either. I'm fine. I'm really okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm not mourning bikini season. It just was never my thing and doesn't
Right.
have to be. I'm good. But health and longevity, I want to be here as long as I can. And I'm aware that that means that I have to do weight training. And by the way, like I lifted weights today for 10 minutes and I was like, this sucks. And then I stopped and I'll get back at it tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to keep
So what
trying.
sucks about it for you?
I think, you know, Kendra, I get nervous somehow. Like I'm so uncomfortable with how it makes me feel because I don't do it enough.
Like
That
the sensation?
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm so used to like, I don't know how much I should really be doing, how much I have to do, how heavy the weight should be, how
Mm,
long I really need to do it. Like, and so, and I just pick weights randomly. Like I'll use 8 pound weights or 10 pound weights for biceps, triceps, and shoulders or whatever. And I know I have to feel it. So I try to stay away from the 5 pounds, but like I need 5 pounds on what is that? Lateral raises? Is that what I'm
lateral
doing right
raise.
now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because those are harder for me. But like biceps, I can do 8 or 10 pounds because they're biceps. But then I start to feel it pretty quickly if it's 8 or 10 pounds for someone like me who's not an avid weight lifter. And I don't know, it's so slow that it also goes against like my whole, like my heart rate is doing nothing. Like when I'm
Yeah.
lifting
So
weights,
you're
it
right.
feels
It's
like, you know, like,
actually, I think the idea of where to start and knowing if you're doing enough, and sort of, I could just sort of see, and I have a lot of women like this that are at home and they're like, I guess that was good. I don't know, you know, and then it's sort of like not doing anything in the moment. So, you know,
yeah.
it have you ever thought about working with a trainer, or have you ever worked with a trainer?
Yeah, I mean, so many times, and my people, my listeners have heard me say this a lot. I have a psychological real block with trainers. I hate them,
Yeah.
and I don't hate them in person. I have friends who are trainers. The trainer that my the whole family has used throughout the. I love him, but I cannot. If he trains me, I want to fucking kill him. I want to kill
Oh,
anybody who tells me what to do. It's a real, and that's trauma. That is total trauma
yeah,
since I'm a
man.
small kid that exercises punishment. And until I found a way to love it, which is the walking and the moving and the dancing, whatever I feel like doing, I get furious. I get furious. And so the way I've managed that is there are certain people's classes I could take on YouTube. Like there's someone named Christina Dorner. Do you know her? Why
You
do
know
I
what?
always think it's
I think somebody
Christina?
just sent me her profile.
I love her. Yeah, Christina Dorner. I don't know. That's my old
Oh
age.
no,
Not right.
Melissa Neal. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Christina Dorner's great. She's these really fun classes and they're live often. Weight training, full body, great. And she's great. If you watched her, you'd be like, oh, she's fantastic. She's in her late 30s or just 40. Like she's not 22. And but I like Heather Robertson too. And she could be 31. I don't know how old she is. And she's really has good classes on YouTube. And I don't feel like they're watching over me or they're yelling at me or they're telling me to do more or I'm not getting mad at them. I'm just like happy to follow
That's
along.
really interesting.
Yeah.
I think if we start at like, okay, most important thing is that you're resistance training, right?
Yeah.
And actually, uh, it doesn't really matter what it is, but just do
Do
it.
it.
Second thing is if training the way I train is like, you might like to watch it, but it's like, I'm not doing that. Then second, like the next level is something you will do and like a
Right.
boot camp class. Like for
Yeah.
me, if I have a client who's willing to do that, we're not still hammering them about like strength training in the gym like I train. Like that's what I
Right.
love. That's my thing. I
Right.
mean, I was telling I
It's
just was
great.
celebrating my 50th with a few of my childhood friends. I haven't turned 50 yet. I
I
still haven't
know.
turned
You
50
keep
yet.
doing this to me every freaking time. You've turned
You
50 way too many times and not
you're
yet turned
not
50.
wrong. You're not
I
wrong. You're
know.
not, you're but anyway,
Yeah.
they're like, you know, it's just my thing. It's like, and that is not everyone's. Your thing is like your stepper, you like your cardio. I like that too. But if you can just find something you
I
like,
get
there's
it.
no,
Let me tell I want to try wall
like,
Pilates. Wall Pilates looks great to me. Standing Pilates looks
do
great to
it.
me. It's all
Yeah.
weight bearing and it all
Right.
works. And then
Yes.
you get confident and then you start to lift because you want to. I want the strong feeling that lifting gives. There was a time in my
Yes.
life that I could go to a gym and I knew how to work the gym. I don't really know anymore because it's been so long. And as I said, like I saw an old picture, I have it somewhere of a trainer and I hated him so much. That's not the trainer I loved. This was another trainer who was so mean to me. I mean, I've had
I
trainers be
so
mean
get
to me when
that.
I
Like,
was thin and trainers who were mean to me when I was fat. And this
oh,
trainer was mean to me when I was thin. And not only was I thin, this is when I was like unhealthy. And I don't even look thin in this picture, so you can't really see it. And I don't want to put him on, but I had found these pictures. But like I was losing my hair because like when I first lost weight, my body had to recalibrate. Like I didn't know that I had lost some hair. I didn't know, like, I had gotten to that point where I was restricting so much and I was moving so much. Like, it was just, that's
yeah.
how it, like what happened to you with the fitness
Yeah.
competition, bikini competition. Like, and I think I've told you this, there's a number that I can't let myself go below because it's unhealthy for me. And I know that now at this age, like, whatever. But I remember him saying to me something like, I was talking to him about something with my arms. And he said something like so nasty to me about like, did I want to look like this or did I want to look like that? And I was like, dude, I lost so much weight 2 years ago. Like I'm just here. Like right now, I'm just fighting to like
Yeah.
keep the weight off and live. And fuck you. Like
Yeah.
he was so goddamn annoying. Anyway, this is the you can't really here. I'm gonna hide him. Like here I
Oh.
am on that ab machine thing, and like I hate him. Anyway, when I saw
It
this
was like,
picture,
it's like he wasn't reading the audience.
he's an
Are you
asshole,
picking
total
up?
asshole.
Yeah, you got to read the room, buddy.
Yeah, like even the Mind Pump guys. Like, do you know the Mind Pump guys?
Oh
They're
yeah, I
great.
love them.
Love them. So Sal was just on the podcast and he was telling the story how when he first started training, he was a dick. Like he would say to these people, do more, harder, you can get it if you want it, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, now 20, 30 years later, he's like, I would never talk to someone like that. Like it was one
Oh,
note, and so yeah, I just, you're right. Finding the thing that we like.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're great. They're I love their podcast never ceases to amaze me
So
with
good.
like the tone. And
Yeah.
you think it's going to be one thing, and they
Right.
always
Yeah.
just kind of show up with the right
Uh-huh.
vibe, don't they?
Yeah, they're great.
It's
They're
just,
really
it's like,
terrific.
it's not what you think. You think mind
No,
pump. No, it's
no,
like
they're lovely.
you can honestly hear their wisdom. And
Yeah. They're open.
yeah, they're open. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they're
they're
so, and they're like, boys at a slumber party. They're
right.
silly.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're to me, they're just essential for the fitness industry,
I
I think,
agree. I agree. Yeah. As are
Um,
you. So,
thank you.
okay. So you tell your clients it's imperative, it's important to weight train. And I think resistance train. And I think that that's one of those things, Kendra, that I'm trying to shift into, that maybe there's 2 or 3 days a week, start with 2, that I can lessen the compulsion to get my steps and say, okay, I have to do 20 minutes of lifting or 20 minutes of resistance training 2 days a week. And on those days, if I don't get to my 10,000 steps, I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to like put all my effort into making sure I do resistance training. Because isn't it more important or as important to do resistance training?
I mean, listen, lean muscle deteriorates as we age, and I know you know all this, but for your listeners who are kind
Yeah.
of, I know it goes in one ear and out the other. Because often when I'm saying to somebody, this is what we need, I can see them, maybe even the eyes roll in the back of their head, like,
Glaze over.
you know, and it's like, I know, I get that, but I just dropped an episode about the 3 pillars of fat loss. And so resistance training, the benefits are undeniable, from like, cognitive function
Yeah.
to posture and balance
Yep.
to improved metabolism to bone density.
Mm.
Everything to do with aging well is like the answer is resistance training. Even some really nice studies came out about adding muscle tissue into your 80s is possible.
Yeah.
Um, it and so, if I look at somebody like my mother, right, who's got total and complete independence at 75 because she stays strong and she's got a gym in her basement, and
Yeah.
you know the that should be very important to people, that we have independence, and it's through resistance training now that we get and maintain that. So right now it's like, oh, I want a big booty and popping shoulders. That's nice, but like, do you want to get up and down off the ground playing with your
Yeah.
grandkids? Like,
Yeah.
that's where my mind, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people think my mind is in physique, but my mind is in longevity.
Yeah.
It's in like, I'm the one now that people hand their bottle to get the cap off. I want to get my cap off. And this is all done through resistance training. Cardiovascular is critical. Like, we have to maintain that. But the resistance training gets us both the cardiovascular strength, and it should be prioritized. It's
Okay.
that important.
Yeah. So that's pillar
It's
number 1. Then pillar number 2 is the protein, and then pillar
okay,
number 3 is
right.
the deficit, right?
Total, like, so fat loss. So we've got resistance training. It has to be a component. It's in every study around fat loss. The other thing, and it's important to define weight loss versus fat loss, but we're talking fat loss, where our goal here is to preserve lean muscle, which is not done through eating 500 calories a day.
Mm-mm.
But those diets are still out there.
Mm-hmm.
And those are, I would say, probably good for exactly nobody. Like, and I,
Right.
it is the one thing it's like the hill I would die on.
Mm-hmm.
So the second one is protein, and protein is it's like a magic macro. It doesn't essentially store itself as body fat. That's important to note. And it has so many functions in the body. And it's the reason we need to hit it every day is because we use it on a daily basis. Whereas
Mm,
carbohydrates and fats, as you know, are what? They're stored as
yes.
body fat when eaten in
Yeah.
excess. And
Yes.
protein doesn't have that same quality, just to keep it simple. So, um, and on a daily basis, we need that replenished because we use it, and we use it for everything. It's not just it's not for energy, it's for
Hmm.
muscle tissue repair. So it's really important that when you're resistance training, you have enough protein so you're not kind of spinning your wheels.
Yep.
And then the third pillar, of course, is your total caloric intake. So the only way to lose body fat is, in fact, to be in the caloric deficit. So we can't overeat. And that's where, as you know, keeping track of your food and understanding what that deficit
Hmm.
um, is really, really important. So those are the three major,
Yeah.
and anybody can lose weight. Right? We just cut the calories. But at
It's
our
fat
age,
loss. Right.
at our age, preserving
Muscle.
lean
Right.
muscle is, it's like gospel. It's that important. And a rapid weight loss, so you really only want to be losing about 1% of your total body weight per week. So if you're 160 pounds and you want to get a little bit leaner for summer, 3 pounds a week is not good. This isn't like a good thing. So the faster is not better. So I love a 70-pound weight loss over a year and a half. This is an
Yeah.
appropriate speed
Yeah.
where you're not completely depleted and like catabolic in all areas. So it's
No. Mm-mm.
faster
And
isn't better.
yeah. And I actually, during that time, I was doing the bar method. So I was doing resistance training
Perfect.
and it was great. And then I found cardio, and like the last 10 or 15 pounds were definitely because I was walking 6 miles,
Oh
7 miles,
man,
8 miles,
yeah.
9 miles, just went walking like Forrest Gump. Like I just kept
Right.
walking, and because I
Right.
felt so good. How do we get that protein in for people who don't love to eat protein, people
Yeah.
who don't love the chicken, the fish? I mean, I'm trying to add chicken and turkey back into my life, and I had shrimp last night. Like I'm trying, but it's really hard for me to get the right amount of protein. And I'm not even sure why, Kendra. Like, I understand that protein per gram is 4 calories, right? So if you're on a 1,500 calorie a day plan, depending on who you are, I know that's low for some people. I know 1,200 is even lower, but even if you're on a ridiculously low plan of 1,400, it's only to get 100 grams of protein in is 400 calories if it's straight protein, because it's 4 calories per gram. So it shouldn't be that hard to work it into your day if you pick the right kinds of protein, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, um, so it is one of the reasons why smaller meals throughout the day can be helpful if you have a protein goal. So,
Okay.
and I was just talking with my girlfriends about this over the weekend. Like, one of them eats a couple meals a day. She doesn't eat until 11. Well, it's going to be very difficult for her to get 2 meals, each with 80 grams of protein.
Can't happen,
So
right?
she's going to have to, I mean, I can't say this enough. And I know it's out there in like the whole mindset world change, but with a goal like getting in 160 grams of protein or 120, you're going to have to change some things about your lifestyle and your mindset around food. So if you start thinking, I always kind of go back to basics. Like when we were little, what did we do? We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and like a couple of snacks, right?
Yeah.
That was like basically how we ate. So if you kind of go back to basics, to feeding yourself smaller meals with 15 to 20 grams of protein per meal. Okay, I'm going to give you an example, right? You could start your day with an egg and 3 tablespoons of egg whites on a piece of toast with a quarter of an avocado. That's going to get you probably 15 to 20 grams of protein. That sounds reasonable, right? Like that's not like,
Yeah. No,
I
it's
didn't
not
ask
bad.
you to eat a whole steak.
No.
Right. your lunch could be a tuna packet with, on a couple of rice cakes. You're going to get about 20 to 25 grams of protein there. Your dinner could be, 5 ounces of 99% lean ground turkey. You're going to get about 30 to 40 grams of protein there. Okay. So we're already up to what? 80, 70, 80 grams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now we have an afternoon snack of a cottage cheese with some fruit. We get another 15 grams of protein. And then maybe we added a post-workout protein shake. And by the way, women should not be afraid to supplement with protein. And people say they don't like it. And I ask them why, and they don't really know. It's like they just, it's like, I guess I've never had it. And so it's like if you have a really good protein and you throw in some spinach and you throw in some frozen blueberries and it's chocolate with some, put in a little bit of the chocolate sugar-free Jello to make it nice and thick.
Yeah.
You could enjoy that. Put a little fat-free whipped cream topping or regular whipped cream.
You don't have to hate it. Right.
And you could have that for dinner, make a protein mug cake. It's about planning and kind of pre-planning your day. This is studies show time and time again. If you write down your intentions for the day, even with food, the chance of you having a successful day go up, like, I'm just making this up, but I'm going to say like 99.9%. But it's my people who pre-track the night before, create a meal for themselves, meal plan for the day.
Yeah.
They just follow that plan. But if I said to you, you need 160 grams of protein, it's like, what? But if you break it down, it's not hard.
But that's a lot. I feel like most women won't get 160. Like, I feel like women,
let's say,
if you're trying, how do you gauge it?
Most of my women are between, so we do 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal or ideal body weight. So even if you're 220 pounds,
right,
that's not your ideal body weight, likely, depending on who you are. We're probably closer to 140. And if I can get you eating 120 to 140, that's good.
Right. Got it. Okay.
And that helps keep us satiated throughout the day. And trust me, I've worked with most women come to me eating about 40 to 50 grams, which is less than half of what most women need.
Right. Right.
And from there, it's about small increments and working on it. Just work on it.
Yeah.
You got to let your digestion catch up too, because that macronutrient, it can take your gut a little while to develop the enzymes it needs to process that, but it will adapt, and trust me, it wants to.
What about the people who say you can't have more than 30 grams of protein at any one meal?
I think we found a study. We looked, my husband's a chiropractor, so I always trust him with studies.
Yeah.
We looked and looked and looked, and all I could find was a study that said over 80 grams was, at that point, you weren't getting any more benefit. So that's been
80 grams.
And then nobody's really at risk of that.
Right.
So there's a lot of kind of rumors like that I'm not seeing any data, but if I found it, I would definitely follow it. I'm not seeing like you just can't absorb it or you waste it. But you might not feel good. It might feel like too much. It might be hard to digest. You may feel bloated. But as far as actual absorption,
it's fine. Yeah. But you're not anti-dairy, right?
No, not at all.
For a lot of
I
us,
ain't anti anything,
Yeah. If you mix like a cup of cottage cheese, I don't mean a cup, I mean a cup serving, like the kind that come in the serving. It's not a full cup. I think it's like a 3/4 cup, like the good cultured or whatever.
Yeah. I love those.
And
the good culture. Yeah.
They're like 140 calories and like 15 grams of protein or something. And then if you mix that with a 90-calorie Greek yogurt that also has like 15 grams of protein, you're getting 30.
Right.
And it's like 250 calories. And that's, you could add any of the stuff to flavor it. If it's
those are and I know people are like, I get sick of it, but the reality is, listen, the list of healthy foods isn't that long. I'm sorry. It's
Right.
like it's not, and I
Right.
always say, like, I don't have a special list that you don't have access to. I'm working with the same protein sources, but that's why, like, I love Gina at Skinny Taste, does some really
Yes.
creative
I love
things.
her. She's fantastic.
You always have to check the macros on those. When people say macro friendly, what they're saying is it's high protein
Yep.
and low calorie. Like,
Yeah.
that is the definition of friendly.
What you just said is so important, though. Like the list of healthy foods or the stuff that's like what we're looking for here,
Yeah.
protein, it's not
Yeah.
that long. And so you want to make that commitment to yourself to eat the protein, then take that list, put it in your kitchen, glance at it before you eat, glance at it before you plan the next day, and pull from the list. I mean, that's just,
It's
it's just,
just, and
yeah,
it does get boring, but
yeah,
also that's actually the lie. In my opinion, when we get bored, we look for the next shiny object. And all we did is stunt our progress.
right.
Because in when actually, like, that bored rhythm is actually like a good thing when it comes to fat loss. Like, it shouldn't be a big event. It can
No,
just be, we find some foods we like, and then in my Facebook group too, we have a whole, like, hundreds and lists and lists of recipes, but you have to be motivated to go find them and try them. And I just always say, like, get a few staples that you like,
yeah.
fit them
I'm
in,
actually, yeah,
right? And then start getting, okay, now I can branch out. But, like, at our age too, we're learning, and it's hard for us to learn because it's so exhausting and you feel like you should be good at everything, but there is a learning curve to this whole lifestyle, especially
mm,
when it comes to finding foods you like and not doing the under eating restriction binge cycle that just keeps us spinning our wheels,
yeah. And I also think we have so much trauma with food,
So,
so many
oh
of us that
man,
it's like I look at how my daughter
so
can
true.
choose to eat in a healthy way, and it's just not a big deal for her. Like she went to the grocery store today. She's on a sweet potato kick and she likes sweet potatoes and cottage cheese and a vegetable for dinner. It's like the most perfect dinner and perfect meal. I mean, I don't mean perfect, but you know what I mean? Like healthy. It's good for her. And it hits all the macros. But it's like a non-issue to her. Like this is what she wants to have. And so this is what she's been getting until she doesn't want to have that and she wants to have something else. Or if she wants a packet of reduced sugar oatmeal and she puts a tablespoon of almond butter in it and one date and chops up the one date. And she's like, I'm a chef. And I'd be like 8 dates in and
Yeah, right,
maybe
right,
right like one
right.
date chops it up and then we laughed about it and she just it's not emotional for her when she's like is almond butter protein? And my husband and I are like, it's more a fat than it is a protein, but it like has a little protein in it, but we think of it more like a fat.
It's a fat, yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm like, but it's fine, whatever. And she just doesn't care. Like, no, it doesn't decimate her the way, I don't know. We have so
It's
much.
not, isn't it nice
Yeah.
to be around people who just have,
Ugh.
like, healthy relationship with food? It's just so
Yes.
nice. Yeah, that
Yes.
don't have all the baggage and
I mean, she has some.
that's
She's a 22-year-old girl. She's in the
okay. Fair
society, so
enough.
she's normal,
Yeah.
but not the way she doesn't get the feeling of deprivation. Like when
Yeah.
people will accuse me or worry that somehow I'm depriving myself too much, I don't have the ability to do it, Kendra, because I'm so broken from a lifetime of food trauma that I can't live deprived. It just doesn't. I can't do it, which is good. It's healthy in a sense, but it makes me feel too shitty. So I don't
Do you
know,
feel like you
know.
do you feel like you have found your balance in maintaining, or are you always still in that headspace? Like, I'll catch myself being like, you got to get better. And I'm like, what the hell am I like? Do you do that where you're,
Yeah, I mean, I that is such a thing that you got to get better mentality is I think something all of us have to work on because
yeah,
what are we trying to get better about exactly? Like and the answer is of course I'm not fully ever okay thinking I've got it
Of
licked.
course not.
No, of course
Yeah,
not. I
that's
mean, I can't. Are
right.
you kidding me? I mean, there are days that I can find myself eating half a box of cereal and then I look at the box and I'm like, why did you just eat 700 calories of cereal? That's going to make you feel so shitty in two
Right.
hours because you're going to feel empty and tired. And I don't mean tired like sugar crash. No, I don't really believe like sugar crash, but I psychologically and
Oh, you
physiologically,
will.
I'm not
Yeah.
full. I feel like shit if I eat
Right.
like that. And unless it's like Kashi Go, which has a lot of protein and fiber, and if I overdo that, then I just feel sick because it sits in my belly until I poop 2 days later. Like it's awful. But I have to, I have to get to a place where I don't do what you just said, that like I have to get to a place of it's good enough, and the improvements that I want to make are not about being better. It's about living longer and being able to do things that I want to do with my body. I have to
Yeah.
take the like editorializing out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I, to go back full circle, it is one of the things I said this before, but I I never would want people to misunderstand like that bodybuilding and whether people realize it or not, they're looking at those people on Instagram, even if they're not dressed the way I was dressed for my show, they're still living that lifestyle and they have that physique. That is not a lifestyle physique. That's not that's focused on how I look now. And that's okay. Like I'm okay. I'm cool. Like I said, I've a lot of women who are like, I want to shred for summer and I'm here for it. But also the general population is typically where my heart is at. And it's like, and so this idea that we're living our life thinking we're ever going to get there is it's hard, and it's one of the reasons I did the show, to confirm the fact that it is not sustainable, it is not even healthy, and that a lot of people are living like that, um where claiming that it's healthy,
Right.
like a healthy lifestyle, and
Yeah, they're
yet
lying.
behind the scenes is such dysfunction like the rest of us. So
Right.
just say it's dysfunctional like the rest of us. Like
Correct. I would be
you're
fine
just
with that.
dysfunctional like the
I,
rest of
I
us.
would be fine with that. If someone said, "Look, I'm super shredded all the time and you don't see body fat on me because I don't pass a grain of rice through my lips." I don't. I would be
Right,
like, "Thank
right.
you. Yay you.
Thank
Let's
you.
talk
Right,
about it. How do you
right,
avoid that rice?" I mean, cuz it's just that's like real. Don't,
right.
right? It's like I
Yeah,
don't,
let me know. Let me know.
right.
Anyway, I there was a point I kind of missed there, and I've of course I've forgotten, but it's just sort of like, the I think if we could be a little less hard on ourselves, with what we look like, even though I know that's important. I'm good with that. Like
Right.
I'm good with anybody wanting to look better. That's cool. But that's not the only point of living this healthy lifestyle,
No.
especially at our age. I don't know why
Yeah.
I care. Maybe it's just I care about our generation. Like I'm a Xer, and I want all of our generation to have that longevity, and it's going to come through these methods that we're talking about now.
Yeah, no, and I think that you're very reasonable. And the truth is, look, if you do eat higher protein and eat the right amount of protein for your body, and you do resistance train and you do eat the right amount of calories for you, depending on your goal, then chances are you are gonna feel like you're looking better.
Yep.
And that's a byproduct of it. But the motivator of it, and motivation doesn't last, correct. But the sort of the reason why should be about health, where I mean, as we get older, like again, because what are you trying to do?
I don't
Live.
know. I was saying to my mother, like, what's my end game here, Mom, on this social media situation? And she's, your women are going to age with you too, so you're all just going to go through this aging process together.
A
But
hundred percent. 100%. And that's
yeah, I
why,
mean,
like, we're all going to age. So why not focus on aging and being able to walk up and down your stairs, get up and off the toilet, and lift grandchildren, God willing, one day. Like, instead of it being about fitting in the tightest jeans, which frankly, as you get older as a woman, it starts to look a little bit weird.
Looks a little weird.
I mean,
I
it
know.
can look a little weird. I
Don't
mean,
come for
so
us because you know it's true.
they
Don't
always do.
come.
They come for me every day. It's fine. I can't care about that. So if people go to kendrajarratt.com, JARRATT, they can sign up to work with you virtually, right?
They right now they can work with me through the app, which is
Oh,
awesome.
through okay.
Yeah, not taking one-on-ones. I do some group things, but the app
Okay.
is the way to go.
Is that the first
Um,
form app still? Is
yes.
that okay?
Yep. But so all of that is through my website. You can click the link to the app.
Okay. So they can
And
get to it. Good.
yeah, and if people just want to, I mean, a lot of people just want to poke around, and I think it's so cool that we can do that now. So I have YouTube and Spotify, and the podcasts are also loaded on my website. But those will give you a good idea of how you just follow along, like just follow along, because I'm
Mhm.
living the lifestyle too and showing as much as I can.
Yeah. We didn't even touch on the fact that you're still on the road. You're still loving it.
Oh,
Still loving the van life.
well, I'm loving, I am. We just had our like a 3 months, like, are we good? But I did get accepted to start my master's in exercise science at South Florida University
Oh
in
wow.
September. And I'll be Dr. Bill Campbell, who's awesome. You should look him up on Instagram. He is the professor for that program. And so it's 18 months. And I'm so excited because I really, really, really want to study our demographic in a lab setting.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about that. It's
So you're
kind
going
of
to be on the ground for that. You're going
so
to be
I'll be
there
on
for
the
that.
ground in Tampa.
By
Yep,
the way,
starting in September.
Tampa is very up and coming. People are, it's gone way beyond the spring break that we remember it to be.
Yeah, well, I don't remember liking it. And then my son was in college and we found some cool areas, and I could just do with the weather. So we're going to be coming back east for that. And my 50th in August. So you're going to have to hear about it. You'll probably wish me happy birthday 7 times before.
Before then, 100%, because you keep throwing me off. So then you'll go, and will you live in the van in Florida when you're there for
Well,
18
we're not in a
months?
van. Remember,
I
this is
know. I
it.
like to call it a van. I know it's not.
Okay.
It's a beautiful,
Trailer. I
like,
call it a trailer.
trailer. It's not. It's a
But
Winnebago. What is it
no,
called?
it's not a Winnebago. It's a fifth wheel pull behind our big truck. But it's like
Okay.
a whole house. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
I've seen the
Um,
videos. Yeah.
but we are going to get an apartment, I think. And
Okay.
I think that will be nice for us. And then we'll travel the following summer since my classes will be virtual. So we'll probably do a little bit more traveling. But I think we're like, this has been amazing. And
Yeah.
we'll have to talk again about it after, but it's I'm not retired. So it's been a little challenging to get into a working rhythm here, and I need to
Yeah.
be able to film. And so, um, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And
Yeah.
I'm really, really glad that we're seeing all these different parts of the country. And I just keep every day, I just kind of come back and think, people are pretty cool. Like
Yeah, I
most
think it's
people
so
are pretty
interesting.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's so neat what you're doing. I think it's really
Yeah.
nice also for your relationship to mix it
Oh
up
my
and to,
gosh. Could have
yeah.
gone either way.
Of course.
It could have,
Yes.
I was like convinced it was not, and it has been the best bonding.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think it's a really cool thing that
Who
you're doing.
knew?
Right. And then
Yeah.
soon you'll be in the fall will be here before you know it and you'll
Yeah.
have
It'll
sort
be
of,
here before we know it.
yeah.
So
Oh, how
lots going
exciting.
on, and I'm excited to just get
Yeah.
better in my field and get more contacts. And
I love
as I
it.
get older, I think I'd love to teach maybe, and I think I have to
Yeah.
get into the
Yeah.
grab some more credentials to do that. So
Kendra, where do people find the podcast? Say the name again.
it's on Spotify right now.
Okay.
It's also linked through, we've uploaded some of them to YouTube so you could watch there.
Okay.
Um, I have a lift series on YouTube, and then we put them up on my website too, but Spotify is the best.
And it's all, and what's the name of the podcast again?
It's called Strong Life with Kendra Jarratt.
Great. Okay. So
Yeah.
they could also look up Kendra Jarratt
Yep.
and
Um,
podcasts. I'm excited. That's great.
it's been really well received. So it's hard to do on your own. Like, so kudos to you for staying
Yeah.
consistent, you know?
Are you doing guests or are you doing it mostly
A
just you?
little bit of both.
Mhm.
And of course, I would love to have you on
Oh God,
sometime.
anytime, anytime you
It
want.
would be
Yeah.
so fun. I'll
Yeah.
do
Oh
we'll
my
do a
God.
deep dive in the mind of Jenny.
Oh my God, we'll laugh the whole time. Are you kidding me? It's so weird in there.
It's
It's
so,
so weird.
it might take a few episodes.
It's fine. You are delightful. I'm excited for you. All of this sounds exactly as you're supposed to be. And I think probably in part because of the journey you went on with going through the country, not in a van, in the attach the house to the car thing, I think is probably what's opened you up a bit creatively, like
Yeah.
creatively as well, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
1,000%.
All right. Thank you for being on my podcast. Follow Kendra Jarratt everywhere at Kendra Jarratt. Go to kendrajarratt.com. I'm at Just Jenny Hutt on Instagram, at Jenny Hutt on TikTok and Twitter. Any questions or comments, email justjennypod@gmail.com. And I'll be back here per usual tomorrow.